Well, for those that are still going back and forward and they are not living in Spain, but you own a property, you need to declare what we call non-resident income tax. So for those owning a property and not living in Spain permanent, they do have to declare this tax. That is a small amount depending on the value of your property, and it's paid at the last day of every year. And I put an example there. If you have a house valued, not the market value, it's the catastrophe value, 200,000 euros, you will pay approx 500 euros a year. And this is very important to prove in the future that you were not fiscal resident, but because in 2025 or 26, Spain can come and ask, well, I want to know where you were fiscal resident, or we think that you are fiscal resident in this country. This is another way of proving that you were not fiscal resident. Not enough by itself, but it helps. Now, the will and inheritance tax. Every good solicitor, every good lawyer that helped you buying a property should tell you this. That is very, very important to make a will in Spain if you have assets. Why? Because you can apply your UK law. In Spain, if you pass away in Spain with assets and you didn't make a will, you will be applied the Spanish law. And the Spanish law protects family. And for us, your husband or wife is not your family. We give everything to our children, everything. So there are cases, yeah, I will say again, the law in Spain, if you pass away without a will in Spain, we will apply the Spanish law, and the Spanish law protects your children. I can't, I will say get rid. I can't avoid to give anything to my kids. If I'm not in good terms with any of my kids, it's very, very, very difficult not to let my estate. So if you don't want that, because what you want to do is give it to your husband, give it to your wife, or give it to a church, this church, for example, then you have to make a will. Because your law, you can do it. In your law, the UK law lets you to do it. If you have no children, what people normally do, you give it to each other, and then you have to choose someone else when both are not here. Sorry, if there is no will. Yeah, I think I have here some. Yeah, I've done like a bit of a scheme of what it could be. You are there, your son, your parents, and then if you don't have any children yourself, it will go to your father and mother. If you don't have them, brothers and sisters. If you don't have them, nephew, niece, and those. So it will go like there, like that, right? In Spain, we are forced to go this way. But this is just if of course, if you apply the Spanish law, and you die without a will. If you make a will, we will say in that clause that we apply the UK law. But yeah.
If you make a will in the UK, you have to make one in Spain.
Sure. Yeah, 100%.
Because it won't rely on the.
We will not accept that law or that will. We will not accept it. You will have to do.
Just when you said it was like the UK law.
Yeah. What I said is that in the will that we make here in Spain in front of a notary, we will say that we apply our nationality law. If you are French, you can apply the French law. If you are German, you can apply the German law. But your law is very different than ours. In our law, you are forced. So if I didn't make a will myself, because for me it's not important. Anything that happens will go to them. Right? The only thing is that they have to prove that they are your kids. That's sometimes complicated. If you want to do that you want to give everything to your kids, and you didn't make a will, fine, but they will need to prove that they are your children. They will need to come, they will need to show the birth certificates, the marriage certificates, so it's a bit more complicated. So, we were talking about inheritance tax. What happens? If you give everything to your spouse or to your children or to your parents, in Spain, in Andalusia, because it's given the authority to tax inheritance tax to regions, in this case we are in Andalusia, it's for free, unless you are a millionaire. That then will, up to $1 million in assets is for free. So anything that goes to your husband or spouse or to your children, you don't pay anything. They won't pay anything. You will not be here to pay. If you leave anything to your sister, to your brother, to your church, sorry, it will be the church that will have to pay, not the, of course, not the person that went, but it's expensive because we don't consider yourselves as relatives. Even if it's your sister or brother or nephew, they will have to pay. Very, very important also that I find this a lot. I said that already. If you are not married till not so long ago, those inheriting that were coming from third countries, like UK is now, were paying taxes, inheritance tax in this case. But now this, again, there was a court case and Spain lost, and now anyone inheriting, if they live in UK, Canada, the States, anywhere, and it's your son or a spouse or husband, they won't pay any taxes. But important, very important, this happened a lot with the British, you need to have any kind of link. It's not just that you are a couple, or just enough. You need to make what we call pareja de hecho, that is like a civil partnership, or get married. I can tell that I married a lot of people when I tell them that. Yeah. Yeah. We've done a lot. I mean, people, they've been together a long time, they buy a house together, and when I tell them that if they are not married, they have to pay inheritance tax, the personal life, they get married. And it's easy. You can get married in Spain or in Gibraltar, or we can do what we call a Spanish civil partnership that is called pareja de hecho. It's a document that says that you have a kind of relation, right? So very important. You need to have any kind of link. Another important tip. This example, this gentleman is saying, my wife, we are married, she has a kid, but it's not mine. If you leave your estate to him, he will pay, because you are not blood related with him, even if you are married. So be careful to leave your estate to a step daughter, step children, because they will pay. When there is no option, there is no option, but just think that they will pay. They will pay at least with the actual law. But you have a problem because this is what normally happens. You normally don't pass away together. You pass away, one of you pass away. And what some people do is, okay, we leave everything for our 4 kids, even if they are not mine. Your 2 kids will not pay anything, but your kids will pay. So I will try to find, you don't know where I'm going to buy. No, it's nothing to do with the name. That's why it's important to make a will, because in that will you will say, my son was born that day, this is the full name, so this is already written, and you don't have to prove after that. But the important thing is that what I would not do is, imagine your situation, one pass away, and then everything goes to you, and then you pass away, everything in 4 parts. This will be a problem, not just because there will be 4 owners of a property. What I would do is, if you can, sell the property before something happens and divide the money.
What's the threshold
You start 15,000 a year.
15,000. So anything over 15,000.
You start paying in a scale up to 37%. So
Up to 37%.
yeah, yeah. And the thing is, another funny thing is that in Spain, as a difference with England, that the person receiving the property is not them until you receive it. So you can't use that money to pay the taxes. You know what I mean? Because you are not the owner until you pay the taxes. So you need to find the money somewhere else, pay the tax, inherit, and then sell it if you want. Yeah, it's tricky. Sorry. I didn't see.
Okay, my children already own a part of the property of the Spanish law. I got it sorted. It was a quarter till my wife died. Now they have a third of it. When I die, they will automatically inherit my half each. But that has already been done in Spanish law. The only difference is I can't sell the property without their permission.
That's right.
After all these years, we're not going to fall out now.
This happens if your wife or husband passed away, and she thought or he thought that it was better to give it to your kids instead of your husband. You will have a co-owner. You have a partner, and they both together need to sign to do anything with you. No, I mean if you want to sell it. If you want to sell it, they need them to sign.
Correct.
Yeah, and get any. Yeah, sorry.
If you're not fully resident and you own a property with your
Partner?
partner
Not married.
does the same apply?
Yeah, that's.
If one of us passes away, but we're not fully resident,
Yeah, it's nothing to do if you are fiscal resident or non-fiscal resident, because the property is in Spain, and you have to apply the inheritance tax from Spain. So if you have a co-ownership with, it's like if you have it with me, we don't have, in theory, anything together, any paper signed. So this will be applied.
so if my partner passes away, would the property then just be mine? Or
I don't know, depending on your will. If you say,
got no will?
if there are no will, it will go to her children or her father or her aunt, sisters, brothers,
Not to me.
not to you,
Even though my name's on the...
because you have just half of it, but nothing else. It's like owning a company, it's shares of a company, the same. Yeah? So that's why it's so important. If you want to keep one message of what we've been talking today, making a will is important. It's one of them.
England or in Spain?
Yeah. Right, very quick. For those that are looking to sell the properties, even what we said in England, there is this what we call capital gains tax, the same as in England. We have a tax that you have to pay if you sell it with a profit, just with a profit. And then what you have to do is you have to take the price you paid for the property plus all the costs, all the stamp duty, notary, land registry, your solicitor, your surveyor, anything that you paid when you bought it, minus the selling price. If there is a profit there, you have to pay what we call capital gains tax.
Is that minus the selling price plus taxes?
Yeah, but when you sell, you just pay a small tax that is called plusvalia. It's a council tax, so it's not going to increase a lot the selling price. Plus, well, you could add also your solicitor, your lawyer. I don't know if you have to do something services, the state agency. If you can deduct if you have always an invoice. Yeah, you can deduct that. So how much will you pay? If you are non-resident, this means that you are not paying taxes in Spain. You will pay 19% on that profit. If you are resident, you will pay from 19% up to 26%, depending on the profit that you are making. The first 6,000 you pay 19, from 6,000 to 50,000 you pay 21, and then onwards. Okay? Now, what happens to those that are selling the house but are above 65? If you are selling your house, your main house, and you are above 65, no matter the profit you make, you won't pay any taxes. You're happy. But one very important thing, to be considered your main house, you need to live in that house at least 3 years as a resident, right? So I have cases, people buy one property and they want to sell it after the second year of ownership. This will not apply, right? So this is just for your main home. You could do as many times as you want, but you need to live in that house at least 3 years, right? It's the way they consider Spain, that this is your main home. As a resident. I had a case that we appealed because the first year was non-resident, and we won because you were the owner. But what the law says is that you need to own the house and live in that house for 3 years, right?
Do you pay it and then you live there for 3 years and give it back, or how does that?
Say again?
So you say you reinvest in the property in Spain.
No, I didn't say that. The second point I didn't say it yet. What I said is that if you are 65 or above, you sell your property, you don't have to do anything. Nothing. Not invest in another property, nothing. The second line that I'm putting there is what Maddie said, that is, if you are below 65 and you sell again your main home, the house that you've been living at least for the last 3 years, and you invest the profit in a new house, then you will not pay capital gains. Imagine, you bought it for 100,000, you sell it for 150,000, your profit is 50,000. If you invest a minimum of 50,000 in this new property, you won't pay capital gains. Now, a very important thing with kind of illegal properties, is my property legal, is registered the catastro, what is the catastro, and what is the land registry? The most reliable place to prove that you own a property is the land registry. The catastro is just a place where the tax office has got all the drawings, the values of the property, the measure of the property. It could say who is the owner, but it's not relevant. But this is why the land registry is so important, because if you don't have your property in your name, in both names, you have a problem, right? The same as this lady said that she has 2 properties. What happens when your property is less square meters than what you had because you extended? Everyone using a solicitor will want to buy with this fixed, that the square meters that is you are saying in the description of the property should be the same in the land registry. The catastro is important. It's good that everything is matches, but it's not so. This is not. I mean, if I have to buy something and the catastro is not correct, but the land registry is fine, I will buy. So it's a big thing. So when people say, no, the catastro is fine, or I just own the property in the catastro, don't buy that, or tell them that that's not the way to show that you are the owner of something.
How do you check?
Yeah, how do you check? This that I'm showing here is what we call nota simple. A nota simple, you can go yourself to the land registry, depending on where you buy. Always when you read your deed, it says the land registry what belongs. You can go to any land registry and apply for what we call nota simple. I don't know, in Albox I think belongs to, do you know where? I think it belongs to Purchena, no? I think it belongs to the land registry. Yeah, the land registry normally Purchena. So we would say here is saying registro de la propiedad de Alicante. In this case, this example is from Alicante, but it would say registro de la propiedad de Purchena. The number of the property, there are some numbers, and here it will say who is the owner and how do you own. It's important, because if you own 50% each, should say that, should say both names there. So in the nota simple, also you will have a description of the property, where it says the number of square meters that you have, more or less the plot that you have. One thing there, if you, for example, you say, okay, but my property when I bought it was 1 bedroom and I made 5. It's not going to make any difference. It's not important. That's not relevant. What we want is that the size is important. You could change it when you sell it, but it's not going to, it's just words. The important thing is that if you are saying there that you have 100 square meters, that your property has got 100 square meters. Because when you sell it, if the reality says that it's 120, but in the land registry you have 80, you will have to solve it if you can with your solicitor. So it's important that normally now when most of you are new buys, normally everything is more under control. But in the past, there were many problems when your solicitor were not looking at that things and you were buying wrongly. No.
So if we get planning permission, which we have done for everything we've done, does that override and update the registry?
No, you have to make an escritura. To go to the, to be able to register something at the land registry, you need to make a deed at the notary. It's not just valid to say, no, I have a map, a plan from the technician, and that's it. You need to take that and prepare and make it in writing. Of course, it's good. You have your planning permission, you have your license, you pay the. It's good to do it, but it's not enough.
Are we going to the notary or the INTM?
No. Well, to ask for the license, you need to go to the ayuntamiento, but to register, to be able to register, you need to do it at the notary. Yeah, I would ask your solicitors how to solve it, because, I mean, not to make mistakes.
This is nothing to do with the license of first occupation, is it?
Well, the license of first occupation is when you buy a house for the first time, to be able to get electricity, water, all the things, you need to have this document that says that it's given by the town hall, and it's something it's saying that this house is habitable, that you can live in that, but not really with the land registry. No, in the land registry, it's like a list of all the owners, a list of all the properties, with details of the property that you have. This, they told you that? Yeah, the day that you are it could happen two things. That if it's not, let's say, legal, of course it's legal, but yeah, the town hall could come and try to punish that. And the day you are looking to sell, the buyer, through the solicitor, will force you to amend that. If it's been more than 6 years since you did that, you could solve it right now. If it's less, you can wait and do it after. Of course, it will be
6 years since the original build.
in 6 years since you finish the pool. Any extension that you did in your house, imagine that you did an extension for a garage or a swimming pool or a garden, things that you want to make it correct and put it there, but you didn't ask the proper paperwork. You need to wait 6 years, because after 6 years, in theory, this is like, let's say, legal or valid to be able to go to the notary and register. But you need to do it at the notary, land registry, and so on.
Not at the town hall with the license.
Yeah, you can use the license to be able to register or to make the deed, but it's not enough. Because if I read the description of your house, it will say a house with a plot or whatever, but it's not including the pool. But I go there and the pool is there. And I want that to be solved. And I won't buy that property until this is solved. Right? The same as if you have a mortgage on the property or an embargo, that is, if you didn't pay anything and the house is responding, it will show here. In here it's not very clear, but it's saying that they have a mortgage from a bank in this example. Right? So if you have a mortgage or any charge, it will be there. And before you buy, you need to take it off, get rid of that. Today, there is nothing yet. There is nothing yet. I mean, we can't give other advice that taking the test for those that didn't exchange. But I think this will, of course, be solved in the future because there is so many people in that situation that I'm sure they will have something soon. Of course, now, today, if you are driving, you are able to drive, then something happens, an accident, or you, in theory, do not have a driving license. So it's important. For those that do not know, after the Brexit, they gave us, or before the Brexit, they gave us a time to exchange driving license, and this was until the 31st of December 2020. Then they extended the time that you could drive without the driving license, and the last day that you could drive your car without driving license was the 31st of May. First of May, no, first of May, that's right, because they've been extending 31st of October, yeah, 1st of May, that's right. And from that day, you can drive. For those that arrive to Spain and obtain the TIA, they have 6 months since they enter in Spain. So six months, and after that, in theory, they can drive. But we need to solve that because those that are coming, they have nothing to do with the Brexit. I mean, thank you.